And it's really great to learn the insights from the SAF, from SAF's perspective, and it really tells us how important the the most prominent part of our biofuel mix, that is ethanol, is going to be, and it's going to be. It is already very important. Now we already achieved 20%, and we are maybe we will be trying to achieve more, but essentially. Now, I'd be talking about the second most kind of, important fuel of the biofuel mix, that is biogas, or to be, precise, rather, the enriched biogas, which is also called compressed biogas. But before that, I'd really like to thank Dr. Garg for this opportunity to be speaking alongside industry leaders like Colonel Rohit sir and Tushar sir and Ghosh sir. And it's really an opportunity for me to be presenting my views here. But before that, before I start talking about the CBG sector and how it is panning out in our country, I think you can hear me, right? Okay. So how it is panning out, I would first, very briefly like to take you through, the company I work for, which is called REnergy Dynamics. That is Renewable Energy Dynamics, and we all agree that renewable energy space in India is very dynamic, so we want to represent that in our name. And we are basically into CBG business, providing turnkey solutions and integrated solutions across the value chain. And we are basically we are led by seasoned entrepreneurs like Kushagra Nandan sir, who is a renowned name in solar industry, and Mr. Varun Karad, who brings a decade-long experience in bioenergy sector, along with Mr. Shashank Adlakha, who happens to be a COO and who brings a really a long experience from renewable energy sector. So yes, so what we are into is so we are, as I said, we are in turnkey solution provider for CBG sector, which includes project development as well, and the EPC services that we provide, including feedstock aggregation. We have on set of fleet for feedstock aggregation, and we work on certain contracts. And then we also have a range of products for the CBG sector specifically, including gas holders or pre-treatment units and the digesters per se. And we are just a 2-year-old company, a little over 2-year-old company, but we, I mean, I just want to highlight the kind of the progress that sector is making, because within just 2 years of timeline, that we came into business, we have really a robust pipeline of projects, be it EPC project, be it on the development side, or be it on the aggregation side. And we have set up our own product lines as well. So it's really kind of, it shows certain the level of progress that the CBG sector is making. And I'm not going, I won't be saying that it has to compete with ethanol for that matter, but yes, it has to reach there, because if ethanol is important, gas is equally important. That is the point I wanted to make. So yeah, and we are guided by our advisory board, who consists of very eminent personalities like Subhash Kumar sir, who is ex-CMD ONGC, Dr. Ramakrishna, very renowned and elite name in CBG sector in bioenergy, discourse in India, Dr. Supratim Sarkar, who was the group head of SBI CAPS, and Dr. Torben Boone, he is a Danish scientist, who is into development of biogas technologies and bioenergy technologies. So we, from time to time, we receive guidance from our advisory board in order to move forward. These are some of the pictures, and I would want to share of the ongoing projects that we have recently commissioned, how the CBG projects look. The small, the large scale projects. This is 21 TPD project based on paddy straw and napier grass that we are doing for Reliance in Nagothane. This unit is being set up in Nagothane. We have recently commissioned it. Mechanical completion has just happened along with flaring of gas. So I just wanted to kind of, because a lot of people I meet, they keep asking, whether there is a large plant in India whether anything is working and if, for example, Pratham was just asking, where can I take my students for a visit to CBG plant? I said, I can recommend you some plants, but they are small scale, but the larger ones they'll find, at little far off distance. So, yeah. So this is the kind of, awareness we have as of now. So there's, the picture, and I just wanted to show that this is the large plant look like. They'll have number of digesters, they'll have number of other things. And this is kind of state of art, plant that we are developing for Reliance, with fully automation and this, everything that is there. And obviously, needless to say, it costs money to bring that kind of, state of the art plant with sophisticated technologies. And also, as I said earlier, we are into feedstock aggregation because this is one bottleneck. Even if we have, maybe, we are, currently we have 100 odd, functional plants, but if you look at the capacity utilization, that is not very significant as of now, just because, everybody is struggling with the feedstock, especially the plant designed on, agri-residues. MSW-based plants are maybe doing okay, but agri-residue-based plants are really struggling because there is no a kind of, facility or arrangement or access to machinery to farmers or even small, aggregators to actually have access to these, collection machineries on time, because they just get on a 30-40 days window for collection of biomass, and if they don't have access to the machinery, they cannot, and the entire feedstock goes for a toss. They either burn it or they do something else with it, but it doesn't come to the industry. So that is where the major the bottleneck is. So we also have on a fleet of 56 machines that we imported from Germany, and we provide this service of collection of biomass, baling, and supply, in order to manage, the supply chain of feedstock for the industry that are already operating. So this is, some photographs, if some may be wondering how the baling looks like or what the biomass bank looks like. So this is what it looks like, this is what is the stack of biomass, in the bale form, and these are all the machineries, and this is how it works. I mean, this is something else, that one should go to the field while it is in operation and see how it works, and it's really face to eyes, I would say. Anyways, so coming to the topic, what I wanted to touch upon is how the CBG sector in our country is panning out. Ever since the launch of Satat back in 2018, where we have reached, and why do we need CBG in the first place? As we have been hearing, and everything is open, as to how much gas or how much energy we need and what is the demand that is increasing. So particularly related to the gas demand, it is going to triple maybe in another 20-25 odd years. We are at 65 BCM. We are going to need another maybe 160, 180 BCM going forward. And for half of the at 65 BCM level, for half of our requirement, we need on imports. So the role of CBG comes into picture to basically reduce that dependence, because it's domestically produced gas. From the domestic resources, that is waste. Only thing we have to crack is how to do it, because there is a ready market outside. This is one product which doesn't need any market creation. Right? There is a market outside already. We just have to cater to the challenges on the supply side. And that is proving to be really difficult for the sector, as we would see, in terms of numbers and other things, that have happened so far. But overall, the outlook is very positive. And the progress is very convincing in a way. So just to give a snapshot of what biofuel market in India is, as I was talking about, ethanol leads the way. Ethanol, almost with 60%, of the market size, it has a share of 60% of the market size of overall biofuel market in India, followed by biogas, to say. Biogas means biogas plus compressed biogas. So, and biodiesel is a distant thought again. I mean, it would take some time to even, come let's say, to be main topic of the discourse. So yeah, we will give it a pause for now. But yes, ethanol and biogas or CBG. So this is what the market segment looks like as of now. So we are just half what the market size for ethanol is, and that is where we want to go. We want to be equally, important as ethanol. And for just to give this understanding what biogas and what is the differentiator between biogas and CBG is, so it's all about methane content. Raw biogas has about 55 to 65% of methane, and when it is enriched or upgraded to the purity of more than 90%, it is and compressed at certain pressure level, it is CBG, which is easy for transportation and other things. So that basically results into a very prominent differentiator in terms of energy value. So if biogas offers around 20 megajoule per kg, CBG offers just double and 2 or 2.5 times as much. So that is why CBG makes more sense in a way. So, and we all know there are very supporting policies and incentives to push CBG sector in India, right from SATAT to in terms of financial incentives. There are CFA, the Central Financial Assistance. There is state level capital subsidies available to plant developers. There is MDA to take care of the FOM, that is the byproduct. Which is waste generated out of waste, and it has to be taken care of, but there has to be a market for that. So for that, government is supporting with MDA, and the only thing, the market has to be created, awareness has to be created. So that with that focus, this MDA is there to support the industry and the farmers. And yes, of course, the key driver in biofuel sector has been the target so far, be it ethanol, and similarly in case of CBG also, it is going to be the targets. For 20% target, ethanol has reached where it is now. For 5% target, in CNG mix, CBG will definitely evolve to that level, and it may and will make a mark of it. So for now, the targets are very modest. The target is basically to have 1% in the first year, starting from 25-26. Actually, that was last year, and then 3%, and then 4%, and to reach 5% by the end of 28-29 in 5 years, to reach 5% of CNG share. So that will probably push the industry to go forward. So we are following the footsteps of ethanol industry per se, because also there is one thing, an interesting thing about it is we kind of the ethanol and CBG compete with each other in terms of feedstock. So sir talked about ethanol, but mainly 1G ethanol. There is 2G, there is 3G, and 2G ethanol. The feedstock would be the feedstock that we use, basically. So there is going to be a little, but you will have to manage that. Anyways, so and these are several schemes, as I was telling about, the CFA that is available, and CFA is not even it's not even some small CFA. It's a huge CFA. For let's say 4 crores of rupees for 4.8 tons per day capacity CBG plant, and up to 12 tons per day. And then state level subsidies. For example, in Uttar Pradesh, they, apart from CFA, the state level subsidy provided is 75 lakh rupees per ton, up to 20 crores. So the capping is 20 crores, but that's huge. Again, in Telangana, it is up to 30 crores. In Madhya Pradesh, in Chhattisgarh, there is 30% straight. Along with other subsidies for biomass, collection machineries and supply chain management and other things. These are the capital subsidies purely for plants and machineries. So that is how the conducive policy environment is there, support infrastructure is there, and the only thing is the industry really needs to take care of certain risk and move forward. And these are not just the capital subsidies, but also in terms of stamp duty for land. That is completely exempted. Electricity duty, electricity tariff rebate, and what not. I mean, there is a bucket of incentives. Well, maybe I'll briefly talk about bucket of incentives for CBG sector, because it has to reach somewhere. That's why there is this vision for having gas mix of 15% in our primary energy mix, from 6% to 15%, almost 2.5 times increase. And that is how the industry and the government is planning to do it. And we are on the right path. I'm sure we all agree that. So what is the current market look like, and what it needs to do? So as of now, yes, the market size is not as significant or as much, but yeah, given the time frame within 3 or 4 years timeline, the CBG market per se, very specifically, has kind of grown to around $30 million US. But yes, at the pace of 12 or 15% CAGR, even some people say 22% CAGR, will reach maybe to 65-100 million. But that's not the point. The point is, if we have to reach the target of 15 million metric tons, I'm sure you're aware of the targets on CBG. So the government has set up a target for annual capacity of CBG production of 15 million metric tons per year, which would be equivalent to 20 BCM of natural gas. Against a total consumption of, let's say, 100 BCM of gas by then, it would basically constitute about 20% of our gas requirement. We are already importing 50%, but then out of that, we would be meeting our domestic requirement with domestic production of 20%. So that will automatically reduce our dependence. And I'll talk about how it can, what would be the major feedstocks in order to have that quantity of gas going forward. So this is what it looks like. So basically, we need to have very exponential kind of, in terms of investment and capacity addition, we need very exponential growth in order to reach in another 15 years. The target was to reach by 24-25. We have already missed that deadline, but this is a simple analytics I have just prepared in order to just give a flavor. That taking 15 years as the time frame, because let's be realistic. 5 years, 7 years would not work here. So 15 years. So in 15 years, even in 15 years, we have to be really kind of growing really fast at an exponential rate in order to reach that 15 million metric tons capacity. Because by then, in another 15 million metric tons, our gas demand would go up by another 2.5 times. So that is how we have to, and it requires certain investments. So in order to reach that capacity, we need about 2.5 lakh rupees, half lakh crore rupees of investment. So that's huge. As of now, there is no data to support or actually track as to how much investment is happening in CBG sector, and that is probably the industry or the industry associations should actually look at to track the investments, but it's not very significant. And there is not much of public money that is getting into this particular sector. So that is another area of bottleneck for the CBG industry, because we are facing a lot of issues with financing and other things, as I would share the data. So this is basically what feedstock would contribute to what extent. It looks like prima facie that agri-based feedstock are going to lead the way. Because although we have a lot of MSW, we have poultry litter and everything and spent wash, but overall potential, is very less. So biomass, paddy straw, cotton stalk, corn cob, and all those things there, Napier grass, and everything, cane trash, these things are going to lead the way, accounting for nearly 60%. Given the availability of feedstock is there, but not all the feedstock or the agri-biomass is available for, at industry's disposal. So even if we consider 25% is available for collection, that also basically, leads to the potential of around 3 million metric tons per annum of the capacity. So in just the paddy straw, I would say. And that much paddy straw, means, around 27 million metric tons of paddy straw will have to be procured by the industry. that represents a market of about 6,000 to 9,000 crore for paddy straw alone. So that is the quantum of the agri residue market and farmer level income enhancement and other, because it will have ripple effect. It will have cascading effects. It will just not get stuck at some point, but it will transgress to from industry to farmers, and then in true sense it will bring about the circularity. Sorry, is it okay on time?
Please, please.
Yeah. Okay. So this is just a glimpse of what raw material is going to play what kind of role. So obviously, paddy straw is going to be playing a major role in achieving the target. And if I have to talk about what is the current status, so there are umpteen number of plants coming up, from very small scale to large scale plants coming up, so to say. So as of now, if we look at Satat portal or Govardhan portal, there are more than 1,000 plants registered, but functional are just 100, maybe 108 or something. Rest are either yet to start construction or under construction. So I've done certain analysis, which says that roughly about 65% of the registered plants are yet to undergo or yet to reach that stage of construction, not even commissioning. They have to break the ground, the 65%. And the functional ones are just 10% of the registered ones. And around 25% are under construction. So if the 65% are yet to get into that construction phase, so we really, as an industry have to sit together and understand what is that, or what are the concerns and issues that the projects are struggling to even break the ground. If 65% projects are there, and there is certain discrepancy. I mean, there are so many data sources here. So the Govardhan is one central data source, Govardhan portal, but there is again MNRE's Biourja portal, which suggests something else. So despite of such huge kind of CFA available and significant CFA available, the total number of plants registered at MNRE Biourja portal, which is the requirement to avail any CFA or central financial assistance, is just 95. Satat Govardhan says 1,154 plants, and MNRE says just 95 plants. I mean, 900 plants are not at all interested in CFA, or what is happening. So we really have to understand. Rohit sir, I'm sorry. We really have to understand what is happening here in terms of administrative kind of things, and we ourselves are struggling in terms of project approvals. There is 6 months timeline and everything, and we'll identify the land and we do everything, but then project doesn't get approved. So landowner will not wait for us to get the project approved before he signs the lease deed. So these are some administrative things that really need, we have to kind of speed up the approval process. We are really struggling with these kind of things, and that is why we are not able to break the ground. So if we are not, there may be other kind of players who are facing similar kind of challenges and issues. So that 65% is a huge chunk, because that represents overall project, the capacity of the plant capacity is around 8,000 TPD, which is around, if operates for 300 odd years, it roughly, equates to around 250,000 tons of gas. And our target is to reach 15 million. We are not yet there, but progress is there. But we have to take care of these certain things, in order to expedite. Otherwise, in another 15 years, we'll be there at 1 million ton. And capacity utilization is another issue, that the plants are facing, which are working, be it MSW based, be it agri feedstock based. So there are challenges, I am not saying, and we cannot kind of ignore those challenges. There are challenges, but I think there need to be solutions as well, because the data otherwise say different things. And even in terms of capacity of that 61% of the plant capacity, that 61% is yet to see the ground. So it's just, how we want to go about it. So that is what. And there are different portals, there are different things, and UPNEDA has different portal for registration, approval, MNRE has different, Govardhan is different thing. It is not for approval, but it's for information sharing and all. But there's a lot of discrepancy, And if I want to plan a project in a particular location, I don't have right kind of feedstock information. Government data is there, but when we go on field and cross-verify the data, it's poles apart. So, there is needs to be uniformity, because it will affect not just CBG sector, it will also affect ethanol sector, sir. Right? So, data, information, right kind of administrative support, it is there. Policies are there, everything is there, there is timeline, there is everything. But, no, I don't want to be really explicit, but yes, we need really that robust kind of, mechanism to accelerate things, so that we don't have to wait for one project approval for 6 months. Otherwise, some other industry will take that land that we have identified. And they will say, okay, no. And then, administration, we get follow-up calls. What is happening on the project? So it's really difficult to.
No, ethanol sector, we took 40 years.
Yes.
So
But
the ecosystem established, it should be in 10 years.
Yeah.
Minimum.
Yes, so we cannot actually, follow the same footsteps, right? There has to be the use of learning curve. Okay, so I'll be very quick, sir. There are a lot of things to say, but yes, these are the summary of challenges that we are facing as developer, as technology provider, as feedstock aggregator. As I said in the beginning, the market is ready out there. We just have to cater to that demand, solving our the supply side challenges, and these are the challenges from on the supply side. Little bit on the offtake side, but I think it has been taken care of with the introduction of supply or pay, take or pay. But yes, that work is in progress. But yes, a lot of things, and government is very proactive. As you say, you're leading this initiative, and whenever some policy recommendation goes out to the government, they come back very positively. But the time is of essence, right? So we have to really expedite and accelerate things. Because as a developer, we are struggling on some projects that we are trying to develop. So probably, from there it comes. And yes, so these are the critical challenges, and how we are, in terms of technology, how REnergy Dynamics is trying to solve those challenges in terms of supply chain management, in terms of replacing concrete digesters, which are carbon intensive, with more kind of flexible MS tanks digester, with indigenous pre-treatment technologies, and and operation and maintenance support as well. So that would be it, from my side, and I'll be really happy to take questions if there is any. Thank you so much.